Yes.
Oh, got to click the disclaimer here. All right. Welcome, everybody. Can you see a screen that says Startup 48 Eau Claire Judges Kickoff?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, first off, on behalf of all the organizers, we want to say thank you, both for showing up for our orientation and getting some information about the event and being able to go through Q&A, but also for your participation next week. Judges make this possible, and it's not an easy job. It's stressful. It's you'll deliberate for hours. You'll have a very tough decision to make. And from all of us on the organizing committee, we just are appreciative that you're here and helping with the event and making that decision. So we haven't done the event since 2019. So as we're going through the slide deck, if any of the slides still say 2019, I apologize. But we're going to kick things off with some real quick introductions. I'll start, and I'm Rob Brynelson. I'm with JAMP. I'm returning from I've actually been with Startup 48 since our first event in 2015, and really just drawn to this event because of the energy the participants bring and being able to be present and see over the weekend as their ideas evolve through to something that's so much more firmed up by Sunday night, and just really enjoy it. So I'm going to popcorn it around and just ask, if you could share your name and organization that you represent, what drew you to the event. If you're returning as well, you can mention that. And then for an icebreaker for each of us, what app do you use on your phone more than any other app that you have installed? So give that some thought. Mine is OneNote. It's what keeps me sane, being able to jot things down in the middle of the night or whenever and go back and reference them. So any volunteers, anyone ready to go next, or else we'll just popcorn it around?
I can go.
Oh, I beat you to it, Nick.
All right, go for it.
Hey, I'm Becca Coleman with the Eau Claire Area Economic Development Corporation, and I'm one of the organizers here. So if you were solicited as a judge, it might be my fault. So thank you for your time. I really like this event. This is my second year in this event. I really like it, especially because we can connect mentors and judges with students and other participants in this event that they would never have conversations with in normal life. So this is like their pathway to getting connected to this community, and I love that. The app that I use second most, because the last meeting I used my first most, which was Cozy, a scheduling app, but the one that I use second most is called Game Changer, because I have a kid in youth sports, and that's essential to her sports schedule plan for the family and for everyone else. Now I'll let Nick go.
All right, I'm Nick White, commercial lender at Prevail Bank. I'm also owner operator of a small company called Chippewa Valley Tours. This is my 5th year as an organizer of Startup 48. I love the event, the energy around it, hearing the ideas and how they pivot. We're not supposed to say that word after the last couple of years of COVID, but that's kind of what it is. So I would say text messaging is my first app. After that, Google Sheets. I do my things to-do list on there. I do my Google or my grocery list and a number of other things. So I use that somewhat regularly. I'll send it over to Doug.
Doug, you're on mute.
Yep, I've got it. Yep, just I had to pop back over to Zoom, the main window instead of the bar. So, hi, my name is Doug Roten. I'm a product owner at a little company called Ford Motor Company. Been involved with Startup 48 from the start. Just participated in a lean startup event in Chicago many years ago. I was like, when they said that something like this was coming to town, I was like, yes, count me in. I want to help make sure that this happens. It didn't make it the first year. So I reached out to the organizers and said, how can I help make this happen in the future? So, and in my spare time, I'm at co-founded a clinical focused on simplifying privacy compliance automation, and we've actually been accepted into the IDEA Advanced Seed Fund based in Madison. So we're going through an accelerator program. So kind of looking forward to seeing and helping other folks. So right now, I'd say two apps that I'm really living in right now are text messaging with my founder. We're just exchanging ideas constantly, but then LinkedIn. So I'm really doing a lot of customer discovery interviews right now, connecting with folks in different industries and reaching out to former coworkers and other folks I know in my network to kind of validate some of my ideas. So just kind of running the experiments right now and invalidating my hypotheses as I go through my business model canvas.
I can go. I'm Ann
I was just
Rupnow
about to say Anne is on my screen, so I'll pick her next.
because I'm talking. I'm with UW Eau Claire's Entrepreneur Program and involved with the community in terms of our entrepreneurial ecosystem as well. I've been with Startup 48 since the start, also with Venture Home Eau Claire and apps, text messaging, probably my #1 used app. I had a surgery recently that I've been recovering from. So Hulu has been a big app for me as I've been laying around the last couple of weeks, but not normally. So let's see. I think did I see Elaine on here? Elaine.
Hello, everyone. I understand you can't see me. It's for a good reason. But I know all of you, so I think most of you. Anyway, yep. So community manager at Collab. Also, yep, co-partner with Anne on Venture Home Eau Claire. I've never actually been part of the event. There's always been something going on, like a baby or something else. I can't even remember. So I'm really excited to be part of it. I've heard amazing, amazing things. Really interested to see who goes through it and listen to their ideas. So, okay, now I have to pick Erin. I pick Erin.
So my name's Erin Garney. I am the Director of Event Services for Paragon. So I actually had not heard of Startup 48 until I was approached by a couple of people. Back up. And it was a really exciting opportunity. I just love to get involved, and realistically with what Paragon is going through right now, we're kind of in the throes of some startup stuff type things. So I feel like I'm like living it and breathing it right now. So I'm really excited for the opportunity. Thank you for asking me. I'm not really good about knowing what's available and out there. So when people come to me, it just makes things 30,000 times easier. So happy to be here. Can't wait to see what this is all about. And I'm a learner. So I'm just really excited about this. I forgot top apps. Probably texting and /Facebook Messenger, because my sisters refuse to text. They do everything on Facebook so they can see if I've looked at it or not, because I'm the perpetual non-answer when it comes to messages. So that way they can keep track of me that way. But I actually recently just recovered from COVID. Even though I was vaccinated, I still got hit pretty hard. So a lot of communicating through that time via text. I'm not a talk on the phone person usually. That leaves Brian.
Hey everyone, Brian Gobler. I'm with US Bank. I'm a business banker there. So I was actually a participant in Startup 48. I want to say it was 2017. And I was in Anne's class, and it was a really cool experience. I had way more fun than I thought I would. And I met some really interesting people. It's actually where I met Nick White. And he invited me to come back and be a judge. So yeah, I'm really excited for next weekend. And I guess my most used app is probably YouTube or Spotify.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Is my audio coming through? Okay. My AirPods died halfway through and I had to do the awkward switcheroo thing. So hopefully it's working for the rest of the call. That was everybody, right? Sorry, I'm a little disoriented because my audio cut out completely midway through.
Nope, you're good. That's everybody.
All right, thank you. And we already covered why this event, but again, if anyone has anything else that you want to share, I think some pretty consistent themes as far as just the energy and really being looped in with that ecosystem here in Eau Claire, and whether it's helping perpetuate that and continue that and build more momentum for our startup community here in the Chippewa Valley, or just the direct joy that comes out of watching the transformation of ideas and minds throughout the weekend. I think that's something we all share, and really, part of what makes this such a fun event for everyone. So thank you for sharing. Next up, we're going to have, I think, Anne, this one's on you. Hopefully you got the memo that you're talking for this, because I'm not. Judging criteria, we wanted to talk a little bit about what we're looking for from the judges when it comes to, through the weekend and what'll be presented at the end. And let me know too, I realize, do we want to talk through the event schedule first and come back on judging criteria, or do you want to hit this right away?
Well, it doesn't matter. I can do this and then we can do the schedule.
Yeah, I think either works.
Okay. If you have a preference, it doesn't matter to me.
More from the judges knowing that that we have
What's
some new
been going-
folks and not returning. Does it make
Okay.
sense? Do you want to get more of a feel for the event?
Why
before
don't
we
you go
talk
through
through
the event quick first? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Sorry for the last minute switcheroo, but all right. So event schedule, what do we expect? What are people doing throughout the weekend? We kick things off Friday night, and it's going to be held at Wynn this year. Doors open at 6 p.m. And one thing I'll say is Friday night and Saturday for judges, none of this matters. We actually ask that you're not present when the participants are working through their ideas. We want you to see the final end result. But we just want to make sure you've got the context around kind of what's going on throughout the weekend. So you don't have to take super detailed notes, and you don't have to plan on showing up for any of this, but yeah, this is what's going on. Doors open Friday at 6. We'll have dinner and kick things off with some opening remarks and do some icebreakers, just some things to get the participants comfortable working with each other. And then everyone is asked to do an opening pitch. It's not required. Sometimes people will have more than one idea they'll share. But we really, this is the raw, like, I showed up, I've got this idea, I've been kicking around in my head. Sometimes you have the one where, somebody's been thinking about it for months or years, and they've just finally gotten the courage to come up and pitch it in front of a room full of people. Other times you have one where it's like, I don't know, here's this thing, and it's kind of cool, and maybe it'll work. And they kind of came up with it on the fly. And it's always interesting for us, the ones that really, do go to move on. It seems like it's a blend between the ones that are, really well defined and ones that are just kind of there right at the moment. But yeah, the teams have fun, they pitch, and then we split everyone around and kind of let them talk to each other, let them network, kind of learn more about the ideas that people have pitched, and kind of organically form their team. So sometimes we'll have to get in and encourage some, hey, this team's looking for an engineer, this team's looking for someone that really knows product marketing or finance. But we let the teams kind of network with each other and figure out where they want to fit as organically as they can. And our goal is to get, a minimum number of teams. We try to have at least, 4 or 5, and then at most kind of 10. So we'll kind of help with that. And then after that, on Friday evening, we'll do a team activity, and that's kind of it for the day. Teams can stick around and start working if they want. Otherwise, they sometimes want to take off and come in right away the next morning and get started early. Becca, Ann, Nick, anything from Friday night?
No, I think just the one thing to note is that those quick pitches is just a 60-second pitch on Friday night. I think that's really impactful because you can't really get too far off base with 60 seconds. And I think that's an interesting part of that part.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it is that real fast-paced Friday night. And for comparison, the pitches that you'll be watching on Sunday are 5 minutes with 5 minutes of Q&A. So going into Saturday, we have doors opening at 8 a.m. this year, and we'll have a light breakfast available for the teams, and then sometimes they're waiting outside the doors. It's always interesting. We'll have people that are ready to go, 7 a.m. waiting for that door to open, or their team will be, out doing market validation or wanting to get started. Other times it's, a little bit slower. So I don't know what this year will bring. We do have a speaker that'll be coming in and talking to the teams. I forget who, Becca, do you know? It's a past participant.
It is a past
sharing their story.
participant. Yep. Justin Vaco is doing it.
Okay. Some Q&A time, and then really, work begins. We try not to have that be too drawn out because Saturday is all about the work. That is really where the teams are heads down. We actually are mentors this year, so we have some great mentors that participate throughout the weekend, helping out the teams. And we actually got rid of our morning shift for mentors on Saturdays because the teams are still kind of in that forming and storming stage, and then really working with the mentors throughout the rest of the day. They'll have lunch and dinner. We try to keep everyone well fed, and then they'll stick around pretty late Saturday night working on it. We try to stay true to that startup, the 48 in our name, and pack in as many hours as we can over the weekend. Sunday, this is where you all will come in. Doors open for the participants at 7 a.m. So that does tend to be an early morning. This tends to be the day that everyone's panicking and going, oh my gosh, we have so much to figure out. Oh my gosh, my stomach hurts. I don't want to eat. I'm stressed out because I'm going to be pitching this thing to a panel of judges. But again, we try to keep everyone fed. We try to have mentors there helping out. They'll do a mandatory tech check. We try to, when we're actually doing the pitches, not have, like we've never paused a timer if a laptop doesn't work. Right? Like they are expected to just roll through it. We have had people where the Wi-Fi dropped off and they needed Wi-Fi in order to use their, Google program. So it is one of those, we ask everyone to test everything out so that when they're pitching to you, they've gone through it and are ready to roll. So between noon and 3, they'll be doing practice runs. They'll be doing the tech checks, making sure the projectors work, all of that. Judges, we're asking if you can show up around 4 p.m. and we'll have food available, so you're welcome to grab a bite to eat. Maybe some informal networking. Some of the teams that are finished, they may be there and interested in kind of chit-chatting. And then we'll kick things off for our Sunday night presentation officially at 5 p.m. From a time standpoint, it's a 5-minute pitch and then a 5-minute opportunity for Q&A with the judges. So you'll have a chance to ask them questions about what they just pitched. And then we allow that, minute or two in between each one to get, laptop plugged in, have people shuffle around. So depending on how many teams we have, that can take, up to about 2 hours. So we, around 7 o'clock is where we'll have everyone, judges will take off. We'll find a secret room, some chambers for you to go and deliberate and discuss. And then we'll have everyone else go to a different part of WIN, and we've got some material for them to listen to and little informal awards and things that when you're going through the very difficult decision you'll have to make, they'll have some entertainment. And then, about a half hour, 45 minutes later, sometimes it takes a little longer. Judges will come back and we'll ask that you announce the winner. So usually someone, one of the judges will be the one that will do that. And then again, we allow some more time for more extended Q&A. The teams will really like to get feedback. And this is all open in front of everyone, and it's just really good conversation. And I think Ann will talk a bit when she talks about the judging criteria, but we really try to keep that part as positive as possible. So as you're talking with the teams, kind of happy sandwich. If you've got some constructive criticism, try to work it in some of the things that they did really well, because it really is about just keeping that energy of let's do great things, and let's be excited about starting something. And then after that, 8 p.m. You're welcome to stick around as long as late as WIN will have us. We'll just do some informal networking. We'll have some snacks and things, and kind of round out the evening. So any questions? I just said a whole lot. I'm going to go on mute, and if there's any questions about the logistics of the event, ask away. Hearing, and we've got some more time for Q&A as well. So Ann, you ready to talk judging?
Sure.
Thank you.
So I'm going to share my screen to show you what the participants will have, all right. You can see what the judges are looking for. Okay. This is in their guide that they will be given at the beginning of the weekend. And I wanted you to see what they are going to know that you are looking for. So you can see the 3 categories there: validation, execution and design, and business model. So they just have the items bulleted, and let's see if I can maneuver my file around here. Hang on one sec. I have the judging sheet, or maybe you saw that. Are you still there? Am I still sharing?
No, it dropped
Okay.
off on mine end.
Okay, hang on. Okay, I think I'm back. Yes. Okay. So you will have this sheet, and I want to start it out by saying there's no number system. These are not hard boxes to check in that way. They're more some, just good solid considerations, and the students are going to know that you're looking for this. So we don't weight these, we kind of leave it up to your expertise, but we do ask that you consider these things, and the students will know. And when I say students, I'm sorry, I should qualify. It's open to community. I've been a little out of the loop lately, so I don't know what our participant list looks like, but my intro to entrepreneurship students do attend. As Brian indicated, he had attended a few years ago. And so sometimes I morph into students, but I mean participants, because we do have community there as well. Okay, so validation is a clear need identified and a specific target market. So sort of that target market fit, pretty basic, but have they missed that, or do they have that? Can you see that they have looked for a clear need and they have a market? And then that third item there, I would say, is something to really look at. Did they do something then to validate their own thinking? So, it's a weekend event. It's not the kind of event where they can do some really significant validation necessarily, but have they made the effort? Sometimes they go out and interview. Sometimes they do some sort of survey in conjunction with some interviews, but look for something that each team has done to validate their own thinking around a clear need in a specific market. And I'll take questions at the end, but I'll keep going here, but interrupt me too if you want. So that's that sort of validation category. And the next one about execution and design. Is there a minimum viable product is the first question. So there are a lot of definitions of an MVP. Really what we're looking for is, have they done some work, and can you see evidence of that beyond this is just an idea? So have they laid it out clearly when they get to a point of, here's how this will work, or here's what we have to show you. Sometimes there may be like a wireframe or some slides that show how the app would work. If it's an app, for instance, if it's a product, there may be some sort of an early prototype that they've been able to sort of cobble together sometimes. But have they made an effort to describe to you, to show to you what they have in terms of some sort of a minimum product? A description. So is it functional is the next question. Again, it doesn't have to be ready for sale for sure. That's very rarely in place, but are they showing how it would function? Has their thinking gone beyond just that early idea stage? Is it usable? These are considerations to be thinking about. What about the interface? Is it clean and easy? And so around that sort of early MVP prototype, proof of concept, do you see something besides them just sharing their ideas around this is kind of what we're looking for. That last question in that category, does the team work well together? Obviously, you're going to see a pitch. Sometimes not every person in the team is required to pitch. They might select one to be the person pitching. So you're not going to have a great sense of all of the teamwork, and that's fine. They do not all need to pitch. In fact, it gets kind of clunky if they all try to. But I would say this is more, are you seeing some sort of a flag that they haven't worked well together? That would probably be more how I would suggest using this one. And I'll ask the others to chime in too now or when we're done on any of their thoughts on this. But basically, does it seem like they've worked well together as a team? Again, it could be only one person is pitching, and that's totally okay. I'll move on to the last one, and then I'll stop and see what questions you have. But this is the business model, the overall model, not just the financial model. It's really, again, as I read through these questions earlier today, I would say consider these things. You don't have to score each one, but are you seeing some evidence that this solution may work? Is there a value proposition? Again, they don't have to have a slide that lays out in those words their value proposition. They may, but can you tell that that's something they've considered? Some of these questions are just kind of basic early business vetting questions. So is the product unique? You'll be considering that. Will they stand apart from their competition? Sort of things we all think about in terms of a pitch competition. Have they delivered to you in this pitch some sort of a strategy for how would they enter this market? So easy to say, right? But are they convincing you that, yeah, you know, I think they could do this. Their plan sounds feasible. That last question too, I realize I'm skipping one, but is their user acquisition model realistic? So yeah, you know, it's so easy to say, here's how we'll serve people. Here's what our customers will come to us for. But have they thought about how will I get that first customer? And how will we acquire these customers that we think are going to be there? So just some sort of a sense that they're looking at it in a realistic way and get that that's not always so easy. And then that one I skipped over, do they have a sustainable funding model? So yeah, that's no small thing, as we all know, right? Have they given that a good thought? You are not going to have spreadsheets in your hand or laid out in front of you. That doesn't mean they won't have prepared them. Once in a while, a team will print out spreadsheets and hand to the judges, but they're not necessarily encouraged to have to do that. But boy, they certainly need to be thinking about how will we make money and to be able to communicate that to you in a realistic way. So if they're unrealistic about their funding, their costs, and their revenue streams, and that doesn't seem well put together, obviously that would be a flag. So again, these are a lot of things to think of. We don't expect you to be, I mean, you feel free to give each of these a number if that helps you. We are not going to collect these sheets. These are to help you really judge each team with some unified criteria that the teams know in advance that you are going to be thinking about and looking for. So I'm just going to pause a moment and ask the other organizers to chime in on something that I may have missed, something you want to underscore, and then for sure questions as well from anyone.
And maybe you can speak to what the winning team wins.
Okay, so we have one of our sponsors is WISIS, and they have an annual Big Idea tournament across the state of Wisconsin. And because we have a lot of students at this event, a high percentage, I would say, it's quite likely that every team will have a student on it. And so the winning team has the bragging rights as well as the opportunity and encouragement to represent UW Eau Claire in the Big Idea tournament. That tournament isn't held till spring. Now that tournament is connected with winnings that are cash prizes, and the winner of the Wisconsin Big Idea Tournament can go represents us at a national tournament where the cash prizes get bigger. Obviously, it gets quite challenging as you enter those bigger contests, but the ability is there, and so that's really cool. As far as our own, I'm not sure if we have other prizes this year, Becca, or others.
There's not necessarily
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
bragging rights, high fives
Yeah.
all around.
Yeah. The winning team is not required to go on beyond Startup 48. We will support them, help them, let them know of community and other resources, cheer them on, but there is no commitment that participants of this weekend event have made to go forward with whatever company that their team has come up with. It's often that they choose to, some subset of the people, sometimes the entire team. It's also quite common that over time that sort of doesn't kind of work. We know that forming longer partnerships is difficult. And that's all okay. The learning is solid no matter what happens with the teams as they leave the event. So our purpose is not to specifically start certain companies that we envision going well into the future. Our purpose is the education around how could you take an idea that you didn't even maybe have much of beyond an idea when you came into the event, team with a bunch of people, and by Sunday evening, you've got a pretty good model, an idea that this could work, and you get to pitch it in front of judges. Other comments, questions, additions?
One of, excuse me, one of the committee members, or maybe two, will be in with you in that wrap-up meeting to try and maybe provide reminders. We're not going to provide any input on our thoughts or anything like that, but if you have follow-up questions about the group or what exactly their product, their MVP is, we'll be there to help answer those and alleviate any forgetful things you might have.
Any other questions? Does it seem pretty straightforward? All right. Well, we are excited, and it is a really important role. And I'm sure you remember, Brian, the teams get pretty nervous and excited to present their work to the judges. So yeah, you will be walking in with some clear esteem that evening. And I'm sure you'll do a great job, and we're so appreciative of you doing this. So thank you.
I have a quick question that's not necessarily related to the judging aspect of this. So sorry if I'm squirreling, but is this open to community members to like come and watch?
Yes. So the general community is able to participate. If they want to sign up and be a participant, they are more than welcome. And then final pitches are going to be open to the public as well on Sunday night.
Are you guys streaming the final pitches and awards by chance for people that are uncomfortable for coming in person?
Are we, sorry, Aaron, did you say?
Are you gonna, have you thought about a virtual option for streaming the awards and the pitches?
We've talked about it. We want to at least record them. We were thinking about doing like a Facebook Live, and it was actually on our organizers list to check in with someone from WIN to see if we want to make sure we're not like stepping on.
If we want, we can take this after the call, but we would be able to do that for you guys.
Perfect.
Just to pitch in towards this. And we can simultaneously cast into Paragon and to social media as well. So if you guys still want to do
Awesome.
Facebook Live, we can do that. Or we can actually set up a true event space where people can register and then they can participate that way too, while it's taking a recording as well.
Awesome. Can we connect offline and
Absolutely.
see if we can set that up? Cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Perfect. Was that the end of your
Other
slide deck?
questions? Yeah, I've
Okay.
got a couple more slides here and then we break. So next thing, info line. This is pretty important. So pull out your cell phone. There's a cell phone number on the bottom of the slide. Please, please, please write that down or save it. If you run into any issues over the weekend, if you can't get into the building, if you're running late, you can text or call that, and that'll go to each of the organizers. We can't reply directly to it, so we'll like get your text and probably text you back from a different number. So if you see that and it's a little confusing, we're sorry. But yeah, that'll just send like a broadcast text or a call to each one of us. So we'll have it hanging on the door, like outside Win and, you know, a few other places too, just if anyone gets locked out. But yeah, if anything comes up before the event, that's the way to get through to us. And then did everyone get the number? I think Becca's gonna, I think Becca, is that in the info or?
Yeah, I'll
email
do it in the
thing?
follow-up email, yep. With the link
Thank you.
and stuff, yep.
My last slide then is any other Q&A, any other questions about the event we can cover? What questions? Like Nick said, we'll have, you know, 1 or 2 people in there. So, you know, we're trying not to lead the witnesses or tell you, you know, a whole lot about how the teams work together or anything there. And, you know, Ann was talking about, you know, kind of think about the team dynamics and as much as you can extrapolate that out of, you know, sometimes you'll have the teams where they are talking over each other and looking at each other with these really confused, wait, that's not what we meant to say. And you know, other times they've got someone that's just, you know, the spokesperson, but you know, to the extent you can kind of extrapolate out how likely are they to be able to succeed in a partnership if they were to move on. You know, a lot about the idea, the finances, you know, just want to reemphasize, like Ann said, you're not getting a spreadsheet guaranteed, but then you'll have a team that'll hand you a packet of 10 pages. And we kind of advise them against that because, you know, then you're in this position of flipping through and trying to pay attention. But you know, often if it's something that's a fairly complex idea or something that, you know, has a lot of capital expenditures or things where they, you know, just complex financial models, they're going to want to put that in front of you. So be ready for either way. Take notes. We'll have a copy of that judge's matrix sitting out with pens and things ready for you. I don't know. What else?
So how many, sorry, judges, do we have one more judge that it might be nice for them to know, like?
So Becca Cook is the other judge, but she's speaking at the WIDA conference right now. So, and she's judged before, so she's okay.
And we may have one other, correct?
Well, we did have one until about an hour ago, and now we're recalculating.
So the total
we'll-
we're aiming for is how many?
Five.
We'll have 5. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have 5. We have to figure that. We want to have an odd number of judges. Yeah, unfortunately, we had someone who had to drop out. So.
But a week's notice, I'll take it.
All right, well, thanks again for me.
Yes,
Appreciate you
thanks,
all.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
And we'll see you next Sunday, but feel free to reach out to me meanwhile.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Seeing
Thanks,
everyone.
ladies.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Bye.